Good evening and welcome to the second episode of the Hempy Hour. I am Gina, Mama Epps. I will be one of your hosts, and I am with the lovely
Lois Carter.
As always. Together, we are the Hemp Sisters, and we are excited to bring you guys another episode. We're going to delve a little bit deeper into ourselves. We told you a lot of stuff last week. It was a little rough, a little raw. We got incredible feedback from you guys.
Yeah, can we just take a moment to, first, making our day busy in a good way it was a good thing. We wanted to say thank you because we had an overflood of messages, support, phone calls, it was really
Heartwarming.
Yeah, and thank you for giving us your feedback, and we hope we can, make you proud of us.
Absolutely, every week. So last week we ended where Lois and I talked about kind of life in our 20s and the paths we took, and I wandered off to teach and she wandered off to be a hotel manager. And we started giggling a little bit about teaching health. And you were like, oh yes, teaching health. Yeah, so let's just delve into that fiasco.
Take us on a trip, Gina.
On a journey of teaching health in the state of Illinois.
This could be your state too.
It could be any state. It could still be any state.
It could still be any state.
Half legal. Okay, so I'm a health teacher. I'm teaching 15 and 16-year-old teenagers who already know a lot. They think they know everything.
They know more than we did at 16.
Absolutely. Very different world. Very different world. So we're opening our next chapter, and it's the drug chapter. And I swear to God, half the class, just hands in the air. Everyone's talking about weed. What about weed? What about smoking weed? Is that a drug? Is it a drug? Can I smoke weed? Do you smoke weed? Can we smoke weed? That's all anybody wanted to talk about.
But knowing you, how does your face even match the internal feeling? Yeah. No,
it's not easy. So you're honest. You're honest with them, and no, we can't smoke weed. Yes, I'll answer any questions you have, but I'm not supposed to. So this will start our journey. Right. So we open our health book, and what's literally the first thing I see is how a marijuana cigarette is more harmful. One is more harmful than smoking an entire pack of cigarettes a day. So I literally tell teenagers to close their books and throw them on the floor. So if you could only imagine, right, 35, 40 teenagers, yes, 35 or 40, yes. We'll talk about that another time, but yes, 35, 40 teenagers in a tiny classroom throwing books around. So, and we just get raw and we get honest. And I don't talk about weed or cannabis or getting high or smoking. We talk about the plant, the plant.
I threw the book on the floor for a reason because
zip it with the smoking weed. We're here to learn some shit. You're going to learn about this plant. You asked for it, you're going to receive it. So,
there's so much else to talk about besides the one thing that historically has always been focused on, which is what does THC do to the human body and the brain? And we had, again, we can talk about that another time, but, this is the continuation of 80 plus years of one very specific study. You can't continue education like that with new studies presenting, right?
So we start talking about this plant, and we're talking about hemp seeds and hemp protein and hemp oil, not cannabinoids, not CBD oil, hemp oil. So we're talking about hemp oil in beauty products. I'm giving away lip balms and soaps at, before tests as, giveaways for little trivia games, and they're eating it up. I mean, they love it, and they're putting on lip balm in class. And
I'm surprised to know that there was that side of it where they even know that there was one plant, and
not even in the ballpark of having any clue. Absolutely no clue. And then we delved into hemp protein. So they sucked in hemp oil, and they sucked in hemp seeds, and that was cool. Nutrition was cool because we already talked about that in health.
Yeah, right.
But now
we have the chlamydia.
Right, exactly. God, for another day. So we get into hemp protein, and now I've really got some kids' attention because there's a lot of athletes. Yeah, there's a lot of athletes.
You're in a coach position too.
Yeah, I coached basketball for 10 years, and the kids know that, and we talked about nutrition and health and building muscle and working out, and it all goes together. And now they're really excited. Right. So now they can use this plant on their face and in their body and on their body, and without getting high or without getting in trouble or without, so long story short, the administration does not take too kindly to all of this bonus education that I was giving the children.
Good heart. You're generous.
Yes, you're welcome. And so, yeah,
you know how this story goes.
I mean, it
so
was,
you share the rest of it.
yeah, I mean, meeting after meeting after meeting on how I can't do this, and you can't do this, and you have to read from this book, and you have to teach them the curriculum. And I'm like, it's lies, it's bullshit. Like, no. And they didn't know what to do with me. They
couldn't even direct you to somebody to go talk to take that up with, this is really outdated. Who's approving this particular curriculum? Like,
let me write the curriculum. Yeah. Let's teach them. Let's have.
I mean, do teachers not have that? I mean, I don't,
the teachers are given a little bit, and they better do what they're told, or they're not teachers
with their own flair on it. But the end message is always their job.
Flair. So yeah, so, and I'm fighting it. I'm a union teacher. I've been teaching 15 years. Go fuck yourself. No, I'm not lying to these kids. No. So, again, yeah. So now there's an administrator in my class. He's, in a 3-piece suit, and he walks in, and I'm supposed to be intimidated. So what do? Stand in front of him and start teaching my class, and they're loving it. So now all the holy hell hits the fan. Like, now I'm in trouble. I've done too much.
Right, they brought an adult in to supervise
you. And I told him where to go, and that didn't go well. So now I'm in this quote unquote final meeting where the union is there, and the legal team is there for the school district, and I'm stubborn because I know what I'm doing. I know I'm right. It doesn't matter what they tell me. I know I'm right. So my head's held high, and I'm teaching all these 6-figure know-it-all MFers about this actual plant, and they're calling me a drug dealer to my face. But I'm talking about hemp seeds and hemp oil.
Did you not see me at the grocery store last week?
Right, they're at Walmart. They're good for you, whatever.
Did they ever present a reason of what, besides, like, it was strictly just you're not following the curriculum we're providing you, or was there?
They stuck with it first.
Right, until you started getting to the union stuff. Right, okay. So the union rep started to bring support to the argument. No, right. They really half-assed that. But
no, right. So their advice to me was to be quiet. If you want to keep your job, you better do what they tell you. And
how much do I like this job?
Like, what? Right. Is it worth my integrity? Is it worth my moral compass to look in the face of a teenager and lie to them, and have them pass a test that's a lie, and now I'm doubling down on my lie and giving them a grade on them. Like, if you lie good enough, you'll get an A. What the hell is happening?
Well, the purpose of education is to give somebody instruction, viewpoint, and some, evidence to make decisions in life. If when you look at it that lens, the only message there is to create fear around it. Right? So it's create fear around it so that when you enter society, because that's what school's for, getting you ready for society and, whatnot, be a good citizen, right? So having law, I mean, understandably, maybe that's why it was still like that, because the laws, would really, if they got caught with these kind of things, would punish them severely. But again, you're kind of to the forefront of like the shift, the change, and it's definitely not in our educational system at all.
It still isn't.
No, I mean, I don't think it is. Maybe here, like, we have a lot of farmers and stuff, so maybe certain elements of that, but they're still having that argument, Yeah,
maybe I should have been more specific. This was January 2013. Yeah. So we're going back over 8 years. Yeah. That's a big difference.
No, and so much has happened in 8 years. Right. But yeah, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but yeah, please.
No, I appreciate it. So long story short, again, I'm in this final warning meeting, and I'm like, whatever, like, my stance hasn't changed. Like, whatever you got to do, you got to do. I'm not quitting, so here we are. So standstill, so I go out to lunch on my merry way, and I'm going to pick up a sandwich for lunch, and I'm 4 months pregnant at the time with my only child. I'm 39 years old. Nobody knows this because I haven't told anybody, and it's none of their business, whatever. So I go to grab lunch. I come back. I'm on my way back to school. I'm one block. I see my cute little school 1 block ahead, and woo, there I am. I'm pulled over on the side. Dude comes to the side of the car, tells me my license plate sticker was expired, and he smells marijuana smoke. And I was like,
really? Sure.
Like, dude, like, that's a bit much. So, right? So I'm like, dude, like, I don't know what you're talking about. If my license plate sticker's expired, I didn't know that. Do you want to give me a ticket? Do you want me to go pay it? Like, I had no idea, whatever. I'm sorry, my bad. I'm a teacher. I'm 1 block from my school. I got to get to school. I'm going to be late. So he sees a Moms for Marijuana sticker in my car, inside my car, on the console in the middle, my private property. I loved this company. I supported this company, and I was proud to now I'm becoming a mom. Like it all came together, and it was incredible, and it was magical, and I was proud of that.
Yeah, and Moms for Marijuana wasn't like, hey, let's hit bongs all day, ladies.
No,
Like it's
all education. It was all education. It was everything I was doing in my life. So this ignorant dude takes that to, pretend I'm smoking weed on my lunch break while I'm pregnant on my way back to school. And next thing you know, I'm on the side of the road and the dogs are tearing apart my Impala Super Sports, you remember? And I'm calling my school like, hey, I'm on the side of the road. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, right. Right. You're not going to be back here. No. So, whatever. They come back to my car with, and I shit you not, rolling papers and a lighter and ask me if I know what this is. Do you know what this is? Yeah, that's rolling papers and a lighter.
You can buy that right there at the gas station.
It's everywhere, right? Yes, and not only that, I can tell you why it's in my car. My husband rolls his own cigarettes to quit smoking because he's not going to be smoking around this child that's in my belly, So here we are.
Getting it all together.
Oh no, that's drug paraphernalia. Off you go. I'm cuffed. I'm in
with a sticker. It's absolutely drug paraphernalia.
There's a sticker involved.
Right. Had you been smoking while pregnant, we really would be having this conversation.
That would be totally fine. So I say to him, "Am I getting a DUI?" And he's like, "No." Like, what do you mean? Why would you get a DUI? I was like, "You told me you smelled marijuana smoke in my car, and now there's paraphernalia in your hand. What's going on here? Like, what's going on?" And he doesn't really have an answer. Like, no, there's no DUI. We're just off we go. We're going to jail. Off we go. So, and
you fucking believe this?
Anyway. It doesn't sound real, guys. It's honest. Hands to God, true story, top to bottom.
It's almost as good as the story of the time when I got a felony for an empty bag.
Can't make that shit up. Can't make that shit up. So yeah, drug laws. We're going to talk about that in another entire podcast. So yeah, I get to call you from jail, and I've never been able to do that.
It is me calling you from jail.
And so long ago, not in our 40s, not our 40s. No. So here I am, pregnant, calling my best friend from jail, and Jax, who's not even on this planet yet, is in jail. My baby, my Canna baby, is now in prison. Like it's all too much, guys, and we have to laugh because it's fucking, it's laughable. It's laughable. But it destroyed me. Like it destroyed me. I ended up losing my career. I'm forced to resign. All the charges were dropped. It was an absolute joke. Got a lawyer and it's done with. But the damage is done.
I'm sure you got this ticket for the sticker. I didn't even know it.
Nothing. I never even got a ticker.
Ticker.
I never got a ticket for the alleged sticker, the alleged smell of marijuana smoke. It all just disappeared.
Yeah.
But I did lose my career, and I was forced to resign. And at that time, you go from almost $90,000 a year to zero, and you're pregnant, and you know what I mean? I thought it was the worst day of my life.
And you have all of the, the debt accumulated for getting the master's degree that you went after to get. You have a body of individuals through multiple schools, and then you get to that point. Just to kind of explain the power of this. So you get to that point where you're, Jenny used to tell me stories about the teachers that would be blowing in their breathalyzer thing. I'm not knocking you for getting a DUI, but like here's the
DUI. Your 10th DUI, where you have to blow to start your car in the parking lot of the high school you teach at, and that's not being addressed.
Yeah,
I'm trying to teach you about hemp seed oil.
And for rolling papers and hemp seeds. So again, we have some work to do in the system, and that continues to talk about these things. But again, this particular journey ends. But as in Gina is, it's really not in Gina fashion. It's really just the spark under the ass to ignite and elevate. Gina is a person that loves challenge, and especially when there's there are no dead ends in this scenario. It's, this stops, we move this way, or, it's the athlete in her, and it's the strong personality for that. So
yeah, you don't accept loss. You don't it's just like, oh, poor.
Yeah, there's, even when you actually physically have loss, you have to find the path, it's for our mental health, you have to continue to move forward. It's little things, but this is very big, this is you know, there's a lot to take on after an entire lifetime of going through, you know, a scholastic process, you know, to end there. But that didn't end for you, you know.
No.
It doesn't. It just it changes form like a butterfly, right? Like a monarch.
Oh, I love us.
I know, right?
Okay, so yeah, you don't crawl in a ball and cry. You feel sorry for yourself for a hot minute, because that's a $5. That'll do something to you. You know, that was 15, 16 years of my life that just, now what? You know, but I'm talking to Lo, and I'm, you know, I want to pursue this industry, and I don't know how. I mean, it's 2013. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? So I start making hemp oil soaps, and, you know, I'm on Etsy and eBay and just doing my little thing, making hemp oil soaps, and friends and family and Christmas and gifts, and I'm liking it. It's fun, and we're educating people, and Lo's helping me educate people, and it's cool. But it's not quite enough. You know, it's not quite itching the scratch that we had.
Oh yeah, you started to get some like educational pieces. You were actually able to blog for some people, and you were able to kind of get, you know, start building, I don't say a name, but a presence, right? Like, you know, and you were really pushing hard on the educational value of it. Because nobody really understood hemp in the Midwest. Like,
and nobody understood hemp really almost anywhere.
No, right. It was either, right, there was no hemp lane, right? Because everything to that point has been imported our entire life. You know,
Exactly.
nothing being grown here, you know, Kentucky, not even until 2014, 2013. So yeah.
Okay, so by 2014, my husband and I decided that, you know, we're going to try something new. We literally packed up the family. We moved to Washington State from my baby.
That was a hard day, right?
It was tough. It was tough. But it was like, you know, what else do you do to pursue this dream? You got to get in there. You got to learn it from the ground up. So, you know, we became growers, and we grew cannabis for 2 years. We were caregivers. We helped countless people, and, you know, then the laws changed, and everything we learned there, we're bringing back to the Midwest now. And I'm getting back with Lois, and I'm teaching her everything I know. And, you know, she came out to Washington a couple times, and she saw the garden and this experience. You don't, once you have that experience, guys, there's no turning back from that. I mean, that's utopia.
Sure. And simultaneously, you know, Gina started to have, you know, issues with a bone tumor, right? So the two things were kind of merging. She was there, you know, growing in compassionate programs, right, and doing that. But she was also, again, taking the medical component to another level. And this time, she's surrounded by people that can teach her.
Yes.
She can learn from. She can, you know, start to build this knowledge. And by the time she came back, like, nobody, you know, where we are, knew what the hell she was talking about in our local, right? Like, you know, I mean, in certain things, you know, it was just kind of catching. I mean, I had CBD, what did you leave 2013? Like by 2014, I was getting the Tallulah.
Yeah, no, we started CBD in 2014, right? And I mean, that's like 100 years ago now, 6, 7 years ago, but CBD 7 years ago didn't exist.
No, and you were, and especially where you were, where everything was about THC, like this was kind of, even within the community, you started to see like a split, right?
Yes.
That still happens today, obviously, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't, right. We got to work on that as a community. We really do. That's not okay.
No, it's not okay. It's understandable because it's, you know, you're working two things, and why is one getting legal first, you know, all of these things and the loopholes, but there's a whole slew of other things. But, you know, as far as you know, prison reform and other issues, but yeah, so we actually were probably one of the first people like put CBD in our products.
I mean, sure. I mean,
I find it.
We were in Chicago, nobody was doing that.
No.
Nobody was doing that. And then, you know, once we started that, and yeah, we'll actually back up a step, because once I came back to Illinois, Lo started doing a little bit before she ended up leaving the Holiday Inn to really join forces.
No, right.
You started making hemp jewelry.
It did.
Yeah, exactly. So Lo, I mean, you can tell them. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm very crafty. So, and I was at this point getting really stressed out at my job. You know, I have my daughter, she's 2, right? I'm gonna have 2.
Right.
Going on 2, and I'm still working, you know, 7. I have not gotten to the point where I can like balance work and home life. And I'm finding like peace with doing craft stuff, you know, and bringing out some of my other talents. Like I like to draw and art, all that stuff. Yeah, so I started doing that, and I started, you know, making like little clay stash jars. Like, you know, I started picking up things that I just never had my hands in before, and took time to like do that. And it just started bringing in so much creativity and confidence, and like started to get me on this path to not be at the job I was at anymore. You know, like I was really starting to, you know, and you're selling these little things at craft stores and you're actually making some money. You're not making a salary, but you know, you're like, I'm being rewarded in so many ways right now. Like,
people like what I'm doing.
Yeah, and again, like the biggest thing with me was that, you know, Eliana was such a long process to bring her to this world, you know, and I was losing time with her, the time that I really wanted to have with her, you know, she was such a process, you know, to have, you know, and so I didn't want to like lose that gift and those valuable years with her, you know, so yeah, definitely left. And then we started, you know, merging it, right? So I had L Bell Originals and you were Mama Epps.
Mama Epps Hemp. And then we got rid of L Bell, we got rid of Mama Epps, we grabbed the G, grabbed the L, and G&L Wellness Sport. And guys, I tried so hard. I tried so hard for like 2 years before I could get her away from that.
No, and you know what? I mean, on a personal note, the challenges I really had, it wasn't so much desire. Like I probably, as soon as I had Eliana, like I didn't even want to go back to work. But I was in a marriage that really wasn't supportive of that at all. You know what I mean? So, you know,
I had a ton of support there, and
I didn't, you know, right?
That is the difference.
Like I had to kind of come to a place where I had to prove that nothing would change. How do you do that?
No, you know, it's either support or it's not. Right. So G&L Wellness, G&L Wellness. There we are. That was 2017.
We started naming ourselves. 2017 was the original LLC, and then we reincorporated in Wisconsin.
Okay. So that's the next. I restole her. So first I stole her from a hotel, then I stole her from Illinois.
Lived that close to me, and then the bitch was gone.
Yeah, we're back in Wisconsin. Come on, we're going again. You know, so Lowe's been in Wisconsin. What, about a year and a half?
Oh yeah, it's been September. I mean, it came in like July, so it'll be 2 years in July.
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff in Wisconsin. We really did. We helped a lot of farmers. We made a lot of connections. Helped a lot of extractors get going, and we really played our part in the state, which is why we're ready to leave the state.
We're ready. We're just gonna keep hopping, making an impact, and then moving on.
Yeah, and the rest of our team is in Nevada. We're in cahoots in Arizona in the recreational market. So G&L will be heading to Arizona later this year. We will keep you guys posted.
We had Hemp Sisters Nation obviously created it. It's been a brainchild of ours since the day, you know, like we had the Mama Epps and the L Bell thing.
100%.
We remember we were like, it was like some utopian thing that we were trying to like conceptualize, you know, and it came kind of to a head a little over a year ago. You know, when we start talking about this because of our experiences in how community oriented it is. And it's in such a range of things, you know, from supply chain to, you know, just a lot of, you know, mutual support for people in the community with whatever they're dealing with, you know. Like an open mic. Yeah.
Product development. I mean, there's nothing we don't have our hands on.
It's literally everything. So we started to think about and conceptualize like, what would this look like if we could, you know, build a different kind of community, you know, it's not, you have cannabis community, that's a really big picture, but, you know, kind of sanction off.
Not inclusive. Like, we want an inclusive community. We want everybody, like everybody from the world, not from our city or our state or our country. Like, we're all one. And we don't just say that. We mean that. We mean that. So there's not a doubt in my mind. I know what the change we've made. So the more people we get as part of this vision and this community, and you see it on LinkedIn, we see it every day. Like, this is what people want. It's what we want. So let's do this and together.
Yeah. No, I think it's kind of a growing, you know, it's not a solid concept, but as Gina pointed out, you know, we are just always surrounded by the same kind of conversations in the cannabis space. You know, you really aren't teaching each other much new things. You know, technology's changed and stuff, but there's so many people that touch our lives that have questions, and you know, we just really want to be a place of good information and sincere information. And matter of fact, when we don't know it, we know where to get the right information. You know what I mean? Get in that ass, huh? Yeah, but thank you. Yeah, so hopefully, you know, before we get towards an end here, you know, please remember when you go to our website and your messaging us stuff, you know, send us your questions. Because we like to talk about that stuff. We used to have a hotline and we would just do an hour talk. People would submit questions and questions and questions to us, and we would do research. We would talk about it. We'd answer their questions live for them. And we kind of want to continue with that because it made, it made us learn so much.
Oh my gosh.
Rare diseases and searching out weird concepts and things and just kind of really.
And it doesn't matter how basic, whatever your question is, if there's a topic, maybe it's not a question about cannabis. If there's a topic, it's mental health or medicine or recreation, whatever it is. If there's something you want to talk about, let us know and we're talking about it, guys. We're here for you.
Sure.
Okay, so what should we talk about next week? What do you think?
You know, I want to say, like, I know everybody's kind of talking about, you know, the impact of the economy, coronavirus, I mean, all of these things, you know. So I don't want to delve. You can take that story and put it in any industry. I really want to talk more, I think, more specifically about us as moms, what we've had to do and being an entrepreneur, owning your own businesses, and really mitigating through, you know, surviving this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know, we have different dynamics. I'm a single mom, but I have, you know, a lot of family support, obviously, you know. But I mean, again, there's just so many situations I think that we really should start to talk about, you know, things that we do, tips and tricks. How are we getting through this? How are we saving money? How did we survive this year and a half when you couldn't sell anything? When you didn't even want to because you didn't want to take anybody's money because you knew like they were making decisions over, you know what I'm saying? So what have we done with, you know, our literature and how have we connected to people to help bring, you know, some more support for the overwhelming chronic stress, you know, from murder burdens to like whatever else, you know, so.
Yes. And the charity, we'll delve into our charity that we work with next week because we're going to be opening up some subscription options for you guys and you'll be able to help with some charity that we work with. And I know some of you have asked about that and how you can help. So that's crucial to the movement, the overall movement of One Love and the Hemp Sisters Nation and community.
Yeah.
Ready?
I'm ready.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you again for joining the Hemp Sisters. And thank you for listening to the Hempy Hour. If you're watching, thank you for watching our beautiful smiles. And we'll see you guys next week. One love.